Welcome to the AC Green Show, everybody. I'm AC Green for all that are not familiar with me. And for all that don't know what we do, we're building a community of goal oriented, success driven individuals who recognize the value of coming together to do great things as we all build financial wealth and holistic lives. And to that end, for all of you who own a business, we are wanting to make sure that you are in the community. The community of us, we have millions of listeners across the Chicago area and then across the country because our radio shows are heard over many formats, radio formats nationally, including iHeartRadio and all that. So we want to make sure that we explode or grow your business around the country. Many of you are doing good business. If you're not doing good business now, you don't want to join the community. But if you're doing good business, we want you to join the community because there are people that need to connect with you. As a matter of fact, there are so many people that are looking to connect with great businesses local to them, community businesses, black-owned business. So if you own a business, make sure that you look in the description and join the community. Also, the Hair Project is doing very, very well across the country. If you don't already have a business that you're doing, you want to make sure that you connect with the Hair Project because Chase Harris, the president of hairshipment.com, works with the AC Green Show, and we're training people how to start a hair business, an online hair and slash beauty supply business online. Everything is coming online. So you want to make sure that you have a business you can do from home and a business you can do online. Okay, we have to equip ourselves for the times to come. If you're only living in today, then you're not equipped for anything other than today. And if you're only living for today, you're already behind because the planners and the systems have already moved forward. It hasn't caught up to you yet. So that's why you haven't felt the energy of it. So I want to make sure we're ahead of the curve and not behind the 8 ball, trying to catch the caboose as it passes us by. So if you don't have a business at all, make sure you look in description, connect with the Hair Project, because not only will it give you a way to make a whole lot of good money, at least minimum $3,000 a month with the Hair Project once you are trained and have your website, the whole nine, but it will also equip you how to equip you and give you information on how to do business. You know what I'm saying? The key thing about business is how to do business. Many business ideas, many of you have business ideas, but you don't know how to do business. And Chase Harris, with his training with the Hair Project, will show you how to do business and equip you to make money in the hair business, which you already know if you're black and you're around black folks, you already get and understand that 70% of all the hair buyers are black women. So why shouldn't black people be making millions of dollars in the hair business? We are giving all this money to the Koreans and to the Arabs in the hair industry with our purchases, our black women's purchases, but we're not making the millions of dollars. But we're turning all that around with the AC Green Show Hair Project. So look in the description for the Hair Project, and if you already have a business of any kind, you want to make sure that you join the community. I want to get into what Chris Rock said. A few things. The article, New York Times article, this article was done around Labor Day, and he was in town filming Fargo, a series that he does. I think this is the 4th season of Fargo, and Chris Rock opined and talked about, some of the things, how he does, between Chris Rock, and a few other comedians, but Chris Rock keeps it, Dave Chappelle too, obviously Dave Chappelle. And I think Chris Rock kind of opened for a few of the Dave Chappelle hits that he did around the country, virtual hits and other hits that he did around, live show hits too, that he did around the country recently. But between Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle, they are not only, how can I say it? They're not only savvy when it comes to comedy, but they're savvy when it comes to social satire, comedy, and political, kind of how they weave in the political to make it be super intelligent and funny at the same time. All right. So Chris Rock was talking about all kinds of things. I'm gonna get to some of the things here. You can go to the New York Times article. As a matter of fact, look in the description. You'll see the link for the article. You can read the whole thing yourself. But a couple of things I want to deal with. Here's one. So the reporter asked him, "You've been telling audiences for years that racism isn't going away and remains a potent force in America." And Chris Rock has been saying this for a long time. And so they asked him, "Do you feel like you've seen circumstances improve at all?" Chris Rock says, he responds, he says, real. It's not going away. And he said, I've said this before. He said, but Obama becoming president wasn't progress for black people. It was progress for white people. I want you to go to comments and I want you to let me know what you think about that. Now, I've said this too, and many don't want to hear anything that they conceive to be negative about President Obama, which that's not negative. President Obama, based on what Chris Rock is saying, I've said it too. I've been very open about it. And for those who don't know, it's not like I'm sitting on the outside when it comes to President Obama. I wrote the Yes We Can jingle for President Obama when he was running for U.S. Senate. I wrote that Yes We Can jingle. And from that time, David Axelrod, who was one of his chief advisors, and I did a lot of work together. So I'm not saying this as an outsider. One of the greatest things I ever witnessed was Michelle, President Barack Obama, Sasha Malia going to the White House. But the fact of the matter is that what a person does in action is a whole lot more meaningful than what they say or what you think their intention is. All right. And as Chris Rock says here, he said it's real that President Barack Obama becoming president is in progress for black people, is progress for white people. And he also kind of parallels that with Jackie Robinson being more of an advantage for white America than black America. Black America gets a lot of symbolism out of these things, like out of the president being black or Jackie Robinson. But white folks get a lot of credence and financial blessings, so to speak, from it. Let me tell you what I'm thinking. President Barack Obama, when he became president, he was funded heavily. You can always check these numbers with the D2 statements. It's called the disclosure statements of politicians, whatever. It is public information. So you can go and look at his disclosure statements right now and see who gave him money. When you watch who gives politicians the money, you also watch where the favors are going to go. You may give them your vote, but who gives them money is where the favor goes. That's why I say we ought to own our politicians. We need to own our own businesses so we can buy our own politicians. Serious business, I'm telling you, that's how it works. So that they'll do what we want them to do. Now they're getting our votes and they're doing doing the bidding of those who put money in their pocket. So, with President Barack Obama, he took care of Wall Street because Wall Street, while he was the president, look at his D2 statements, they were the people that was giving him all the money. So I can remember 2008. And think about this, when everybody was losing their homes, that's when President Barack Obama came into office. At the time he came into office, there was a full Democratic majority in the Senate and the House. There was no Republican Democrat back and forth for the first 4 years of President Obama. Well, for the first 2 years, certainly, of the Obama administration. The next 2 years, it kind of split up. So you had a little bit more Democrat-Republican debating and going at it. But for the first 2 years, they could have voted in anything they wanted. That's how deep it was. And at the time when President Obama came into office, I want you all to remember this. They had just bailed out the banks. George Bush bailed out the banks, and then Obama came in behind him and bailed them out too. Bailed out Wall Street. Wall Street took care of him before the election. That's why he took care of Wall Street, but Obama, I'm saying, when he got into office. Black people at the time President Obama got into office were losing their homes. We were totally disenfranchised when it came to home ownership. We had bought all these homes and now they were taking them back. We were losing homes left and right. I remember sitting around the TV waiting for the first black president to save black folks from this level of racism and discrimination. How was it racism and discrimination? White-controlled banks like Countrywide and others, they gave black folks bad loans. The reason that I do the mortgage modification project out of Chicago, we've saved over 40, going on 50,000 homes with this project over the last 13 years. And I'm telling you, black folks in 2007, 2008, somebody who either lost their home or was in jeopardy of losing their home because white banks, white mortgage companies like Countrywide, they gave black folks what they call predatory loans. In other words, they gave them loans that ultimately they sold away to investment banks and companies and hedge funds and got all their money. The banks got all their money and left the homeowner with a bad loan. Sometimes these homeowners had mortgages that had inflationary rates that were resetting up in interest rates, which made it impossible for people to keep their homes. But the government bailed out all the banks. Obama signed one of those bailouts, bailed them out of their debt, but left the black homeowner with a predatory loan. Did not bail that homeowner out. Many of them lost their homes. So do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what Chris Rock is saying? Chris Rock is saying that President Obama was a benefit and progress for white people because he was. Wall Street made all the money. They did all that dirty dealing to give people bad loans, but yet they got bonuses while black folks lost their houses. Obama, President Obama, the black man, oversaw that for the first 2 years. He could have done anything by executive order. You see how crazy Trump is doing things by executive order? President Obama could have stopped all foreclosures, but he didn't because he had to pay back Wall Street. This is just real fact, family. And I know some of you all, when you hear, especially black folks, have criticism, political criticism of President Barack Obama, the first black president, you feel some kind of way, but that's all emotion. It's not fact. If something is fact, it's fact, no matter what. If your significant other treats you bad, and you know overall they're a good person, but in this one case they treated you bad, well, they can still be a good person overall, but they did treat you bad. And for you to ignore that they treated you bad and then refuse to deal with it is a problem for you. You're setting yourself up for other failures with the same thing with the same person. So, you know, what Chris Rock is saying is very, very true, that racism is not going anywhere because it's not. So for us to think we're going to upend racism in a racist structure, it's not going to happen because racism is baked into the Constitution. So unless you're ready and willing to change the Constitution, you're not going to get rid of racism like that. So Chris Rock says that. He says that piece about President Barack Obama being more progress for white folks than for black folks. Let's see. He talks about a lot of things. You can go through the article and you can kind of read it for yourself and kind of go through. He talks about Trump and how Trump is like a 5-year-old, and how Trump or every president is like a landlord and a bad landlord, and nobody likes a bad. In other words, Chris Rock is saying nobody likes landlords, period. The connotation around a landlord. But then nobody likes a bad landlord. He says the president kind of serves like a landlord and that Donald Trump is a super bad landlord that functions like a 5-year-old. But then he says on the other side that the Democrats, while they should have been watching the news last November about what was going on and coming from China, because, listen, this government knew what was coming from China last summer. You get what I'm saying? But they were all looking the other way. Look at what the governors were saying, in November, December. No big thing. Nothing to really look at here. Nancy Pelosi was out there telling people to come to Chinatown in February, this past February, when she knew a virus was coming. Donald Trump was saying, it was a hoax and all that. All of them were saying it wasn't just Donald Trump. It was governors and everybody else saying the very same thing. But what Chris Rock says, he says, listen, while the Democrats were trying to impeach the president, to find another way to get him out when they knew they had no real evidence. Because, impeachment, ultimately, they did impeach him, but they didn't put him out of office. So what's the use of going through an impeachment when you know you don't have the votes to put him out and you really know you don't have the raw evidence to put him out? You get what I'm saying? They were going through this. Chris Rock says they wasted all that time on that impeachment up in February leading into March, when they knew a virus was coming. So Trump was crazy because he saw a virus coming too, did nothing. Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House, saw a virus coming too, but she thought it was more expedient to play footsie with trying to, get revenge against somebody than to actually look out for a virus. So all of them were doing political things instead of looking out for the people. That's why I don't see Democrat or Republican as my savior, because they have their interests and they're looking out for their interests. Who's looking out for our interests? So anyway, you can check the whole story out in Chris Rock's whole layout there. But it's interesting, you all. We got to get off of this emotional roller coaster when it comes to things that really matter in our life. You cannot be emotional about your money. All right. So if you go to work and you work for 2 weeks and you get paid every 2 weeks, and when it's time to get paid, if your HR department or your payroll department or your boss, decides to become emotional about your pay. You did the hard work, the factual hard work, but yet your boss at pay time gets emotional about the pay. Well, I don't feel like you deserve. I don't feel like you deserve this. No, no right to get emotional about the pay because the facts are the time I put in and the work I did based on our agreement. Same thing with politics. How do we vote for people? And I see everybody. I'm um, you know, born and raised with a democratic understanding. I'm independent now. I don't believe that I am a party. I don't believe I'm a Republican or Democrat. I'm an independent. I vote for whatever party, whichever people, however I see it. That's how I do it. Right? I don't do that Democratic Republican thing. I'm an independent. I'm an individual. Right? I'm not a party. But why do we get so emotional about political people? It's almost like it's a popularity contest or something like that. It's not that. This is not about who wears the suit better. It's not about who talks the best talk better in the public. Because guess what? Behind the scenes, they all talking racism. Because it's a racist constitution, a racist system. That's what they're all talking. Some version of that. They're talking about some version of that. Most are not trying to come against that. But why do we hear political people talk or their agents talk and then we get emotional about it? I've watched where Democrats did crazy things and Republicans, look at all the people that's supporting Trump. And many of them are supporting Trump purely based on the emotionalism of it all, the emotionalism of him. What he triggers them to do, they do. But many Democrats, and I'm talking specifically about black people here, follow Biden the same way. Don't even research none of this stuff. Biden can say anything. Number one, it's incredible that in 4 years, the Democrats and the leadership in the Democratic Party could not find a viable candidate that is of the right age and the mental acuity to be able to run a strong race against Donald Trump, and they couldn't do it for 4 years. That number one, that's crazy to me. Number two, it's crazy that everybody who watches this, who would follow Joe Biden, that really would see these pictures, these videos themselves, and understand when they see his speeches, that don't know that he has a real cognitive problem. Now, Trump is crazy overall, but Biden literally is full dementia or bordering dementia. How do I know that? Because I had to suffer through watching my mother for 17 years go through all of that, from dementia to Alzheimer's to all of that. If you study Biden and you don't get he got dementia, something wrong. And why would the Democrats run somebody they knew was like that last summer? I saw it last summer. I was telling people last summer. But we don't, as a society, we do not, by and large, study these people at all anyway. We listen to what is said about them or what they say, and we take it from there and go. We don't study none of this. You wouldn't do anything like this. Why would you make a decision on anything based on that? I don't get how uneducated people do that. But a lot of people do it. I don't get it. There are some things that is said in the name of politics that makes no sense at all. But people suck it up. Hook, line, and sinker. Makes no sense. So we're all essentially screwed because we're dependent on the media to tell us, and the media has an agenda. The media is being paid for by different people. So the Republican side is telling you one thing, the Democratic side is telling you something else. So what I do is I go outside of the general media to get my news and information. So I'll go to C-SPAN a lot. I'll go to the BBC, Al Jazeera, and other news outlets that are reporting around the world about America. They'll give you a more balanced and understood approach. American media gives you propaganda at a high level. So you don't want to make decisions on propaganda and stupidity, and all this stuff that's spilling out here. So many things, one thing after another. Look at it, and you think that what's really happening out here. So anyway, I wanted to lay that out for you. Chris Rock, I thought that was interesting. Go to the description and read that for yourself. Do not forget, you all, comment on this video, share the video, by the way, and then make sure that you subscribe to the channel, because we're going to, about another week, 2 weeks, we're going to have our contest again, and every month we give away something of value in our contest, and I want you to have the chance to win whatever we have to give away. It's going to be good, I can tell you that now. So you want to subscribe to the channel, you want to ring the bell so you can be notified when the contest goes live and whenever we go live with various content as well. Thumbs up on the video, everybody. Thumbs up. Yep, like this video. And that's about it. Don't forget, if you own a business, go to the description and join the community so that we can show you how we're going to help promote your business. Right? We want you to have a business of the highest integrity, ready to receive our people. Don't join the community if your business is not of the highest integrity. All right? Serious business. All right, you know it's all about community, so we're giving to each other. You're my sister, my brother, and I love you. When you rise, I rise too.